This is not a video about tennis improvement. So if that's what you're looking for, definitely wait for the next upload. Maybe you've noticed that in recent months, uploads here on the Essential Tennis channel have slowed to a crawl, and maybe around social media as well. And I wanted to give an explanation for that, let you in behind the scenes a little bit, let you know how things are going, and also give you a little bit of expectation about what's coming in the future. So if you're interested about those types of things, then please stick around and I'll let you know what's going on. So this channel here on YouTube and also across like Facebook and other places on the internet started uploading videos in March of 2009, which means we're coming up very quickly on 15 years that we've been uploading videos to this channel, which in internet terms is pretty crazy. I mean, it's like half of the internet in terms of its life among like general public, like household, consumption. So I'm really proud of everything we've done in that span of time. And there's been a lot of challenges. There's been big ups, which I'll talk about in a second. And there's been big downs, which is kind of more recently what's been going on. So for the first 6 years of uploading videos at Essential Tennis, it was just me. I wore all the hats. I was the person in front of the camera. I was the person behind the camera. I was the person doing editing. I was the person doing customer service. I was the person doing the coaching. I was doing everything for the first 6 years. It took 3 years to figure it out, how to actually make a business around it. Then I did another 3 years by myself, wearing all the hats. And it was 9 years ago that I hired my first full-time editor. And that editor, shout out to James, is still with me. He's still producing videos. He's still helping tremendously behind the scenes. And I'm super grateful for all of his help and support and just becoming part of Essential Tennis over the last 9 years. So why did I bring him on? Why not just keep doing it by myself? Well, I wanted to do more. I wanted to make more videos. I wanted to make better videos. I wanted to work with somebody who was better at the shooting, the editing, the publishing than I was to increase the quality of what we were doing and also expand the quantity and expand the reach. I love helping people do better at the thing that they love to do. And I have a huge passion for tennis. Other people have a huge passion for tennis. And when I can publish something that connects with those people, helps them enjoy it even more, that's where I get my most fulfillment. So my rationale was, well, if we can do more videos, better videos, more frequently by growing a team around this idea, then we can make even more of an impact and make more of a difference in the world of tennis. So that's why I hired James originally. And then that kicked off a 5-year cycle of growth where we added more coaches, we added more editors, we added more shooters and camera people, we added customer service people, we added social media experts, we added all kinds of different people until we peaked in 2019. And in 2019, we had 4 coaches, all of us working full-time to create as much content as possible, coach as many students as possible. We had 3 or 4 editors that were constantly working on putting together our content and publishing it and distributing it all across different platforms that Essential Tennis has been on. We had customer service people helping with all of our online students and helping with administrative stuff and logistics, and it was fantastic. And at that kind of peak in 2019, we had our own office space, which was a lot of fun. It was very kind of startup feeling. Everybody came to the office every day to work on videos and to collaborate and come up with ideas together. It was incredible. That's when Kevin and Megan were on staff. Kirby was on staff. For a little while in that period, Ira was still part of the picture. And we had a fantastic time together, and I'm super grateful for those years. We also had our own court for a while at the same time as the office space. So we had our private court. That's where there was the storage, containers and the forklift noises in the background. It's kind of weird, but it was our own space that we could do whatever we want with every single day, coach and produce videos and play matches. And it was fantastic. So that was 2019. That's when everything peaked. And then since 2019, there's been a 4 or 5 year period of decline. And that, in a nutshell, is why, and especially the last like 12 to 16 months, is why things have slowed down. So why did that happen? I'll give you a little bit of behind the scenes. From my perspective, having this for a long time in this space, the core way that people like me, tennis coaches like in the media or content space, create a business is by selling, obviously, like lessons and coaching, but predominantly what's enabled us to do so much video. On our YouTube channel, there's 2,300 free videos. That has essentially been paid for by the people who have signed up for our courses. And over the last, over 10 years now, me and the other coaches here at Essential Tennis have created over 30 courses and sold them and made them available to our followers and people who are on our email list, so on and so forth. And it's those course sales that paid for the editors and the camera people and all of the everything that goes along with putting together thousands and thousands of videos into membership areas, the customer service, helping support those online students. That's what's paid for everything. And so starting in 2020, course sales started to decline. And I think that was just kind of a natural peak that we reached in terms of there started to become more and more coaches, more and more people doing instructional videos, more and more people offering their own versions of, courses. And I'm not, just to be really clear, like I'm not angry about that. Like I'm not, as the kids say, like I'm not salty about that. There's the same opportunity for everybody. And I think if your coaching, your insight, your content is high quality, then you deserve the audience. You deserve to grow a business around that. And that's just what the internet is all about. We all have the same opportunity. How hard are you willing to work? How good are you really at like creating those resources? And the answer to those questions is going to be how big of a, real kind of business that you're able to grow around it. So as more and more coaches started to compete for those same eyeballs, those same students, those same passionate players, tennis players who are into this space, my perception is that they reached a certain kind of point where it's like, I've bought enough courses. I've got a forehand course from this coach and this coach and this coach. Like I don't need any more forehand courses. I don't need another serve course. Like I've already got a half a dozen, serve courses, and I haven't even gotten around to looking at serve course number 2 that I bought like 2 years ago. So when another serve course comes out, there's less people buy it and less people buy it and less people buy it because there's so much competition in our space for only a certain number of people who are really that passionate about the game of tennis. So starting in 2020, that whole like snowball that we built up started to shrink. And since then, it has shrunk more and more and more. And so to be totally honest with you, the last like 12 to 18 months has been super challenging and super stressful for me because we had built up this big team of people. We built up this big amount of like resources in terms of office and courts and equipment and payroll. And over the last 12, well, really honestly, like the last 2 to 3 years, that has slowly unwound. And trust me, I've worked really hard to try to keep that from happening. And I've pushed super hard. And if you look back over our uploads over the last couple of years, we've tried all kinds of different styles, all kinds of different schedules. We did daily uploads for a while. We did, one upload every other week that was like super intense and engaging and like took tons and tons of work from our editors and everything in between. But it just seems clear to me that there's just more and more competition, and it's gonna the whole like course like business model that we grew Essential Tennis on, it's just a different landscape now. It's just different than it used to be. Back in the day, when only a couple of people were doing this and only a couple of people had courses, like everybody would buy your course because it was the only doubles course available. And so it's like, oh yeah, sweet. Like I want to get better at doubles. that's cool. Like this person made a whole bunch of videos, like a program just about doubles. Yeah, I'm going to get that. Well, now there's like 100 doubles courses and everybody's constantly, trying to sell them. And so it's just supply and demand, just kind of works itself out. So it is what it is. Not angry. That's just the reality of it. So now what? So basically at this point in time right now, I find myself right back where I was 9 years ago. So it's just me. There's no other coaches anymore at Essential Tennis. It creates a lot of confusion a lot of times because depending on what video you're watching, there might be a whole bunch of other coaches that like I'm working with, but that doesn't, you got to look at like when did the video come out? If it came out 7 years ago, Essential Tennis was a completely different thing 7 years ago than it is now. So as of right now, this moment, uploading this video, so it's January 2024, I'm the only coach. James, my 9-year guy with video production, still with me, but he's the only full-time editor now. So we're basically kind of back to square one. However, what I've taken with me is a tremendous amount of lessons and growth and learning about tennis, about how to coach, about how to make videos. And I still honestly love doing it. I still love the game of tennis. I still love working with passionate players and teaching players how to get better. And I still love making videos. I still love making content. Although recently, it's like my momentum is stalled and I have to try to find kind of a square one to start at again and slowly start to get some momentum going again. And I'm ready to do that. And that's my plan. And that's essentially my outlook moving forwards. So we kind of have to reinvent again a little bit now that we've slowly, and it's taken time to unwind the payroll and the expenses and, like the office, the court, like as our revenue has declined, we've been kind of like chasing our tail, trying to figure out how do we keep the business going and how do we keep from running out of money and like going broke. And that's kind of been my project over the last year and a half or so, is like, how do we just not go broke? And now just in the last month or two, I've been able to exhale a little bit and we've unwound expenses enough that we're kind of just even again for the first time in a long time. And now my creative and kind of motivation side of me is starting to wake up again and say, okay, so now what? And I'm looking forward to answering that question. I don't know exactly, but you're going to see us start to experiment again with different formats, with different schedules. But the short answer is there's no way I'm going to stop. I'm still very motivated to do this, even with all the stress that I've gone through in the last year or two. I don't see anything else that I want to do more in life. So I'm not quitting. I'm not moving to something else. And I'm looking forward to the next 12 months or so, kind of reinventing things and seeing what works and what doesn't. And I just want to say in closing that without the two-way energy, every upload that we put out takes a tremendous amount of planning and passion and every single one. And if there wasn't any of that energy coming back in the form of people saying thank you and this was insightful and sending appreciation and saying, hey, I tried this and it worked, fantastic, thank you so much. Without any of that energy coming back, there's no way that I'd still be doing this. If I was just sending videos into a vacuum and there was no engagement and there was no reciprocation at all, then I would have burned out and I would have given up on this a long time ago. So I want to acknowledge that and acknowledge those of you who have been there for years and years, some of you over a decade now, and you've sent that positive energy back. And you've helped tremendously motivate me and the rest of the team. And so I just want to say thank you. And now that it's just me, I appreciate you so much. and James. It's me and James. Like we both, you've been supporting James. God bless him. He's got 5 kids at home. His wife stays at home full time. Don't know how they don't know how they do that. And I've got 2 kids, and my wife stays home full time. We're both stay-at-home mom kind of families. And those of you who have signed up for courses, who've signed up for coaching, and even just clicked on a video and watched it, you have helped support that. And I never forget that. I never lose sight of that. I'm always very grateful for all of you who have enabled this journey to this point and continue to enable us to wake up in the morning and make videos and figure out how to like make a living out of that is a crazy new thing that like never existed in human history up until just recently. And I feel extremely blessed every day to be able to get up and spend my time in a way that I love. So if you're still watching this, just please know that I appreciate you, James appreciates you, and you're enabling us to continue to do this. And I'm excited to see what happens exactly. I don't know. And that's part of the fun. I love, that part of it. So that's all for now. Going to see some instructional uploads again soon, new format, and we'll see what happens. If you have any questions about anything, you let me know down below. Thanks for watching, and thank you for your support. Keep up the great work with your game. I'll talk to you again soon.